Right, so let's talk you through my new prototype, the prototype of my new filling machine, bottle filler. Now, first we'll talk pumps, because this is very important. This is a peristaltic pump, also known as a dosing pump. You may see them on a lot of medical devices and so on. The main reason for these in use, other than the standard impeller based pumps, is that the liquid that goes through this pipe doesn't actually make contact with any of the internals of the pump. It stays within the tube and it just goes round the outside of the tube. Now, this provides a number of useful things, in that when I currently fill any perfume bottles, I'm using cylinder jugs and funnels and pipettes and lots of stuff that requires washing afterwards. But with this, and I've already done one fill with it, not with this particular version but the previous version, all I need to change is the tube when I come to do another perfume. So you see there's a tiny little label on this. Where's the camera? Yep, so that one's got that's Harper 1 label on there. So all I then do is, if I do need to do another one, I just swap this over. Well, I flush it out with ethanol to clean it, and then I just remove it. And it's a little bit fiddly, but I'll show you what happens. So you've got 4 screws that need to undo. This is quite a cheap pump. There are other ones where I've seen, and I'll come on to this a bit later, that it just has a clamp and you just open the clamp, it opens up this, and you just put the new pipe tubing in and job done. So we have that, and then we have the internal bearings, well, rollers that make contact with the pipe, the tubing. So to fit new, I leave that back in. So then we just take the replacement tube, we push it, and I'm going to have to do this upside down so it's all fingers and thumbs. Push the roller out the way, lay the tubing in, and slowly move it all the way round so that I can put the tubing in so it's just clipped on the top, and like so. So it just goes all the way round the rollers. Put the lid back on and then screw it down. So yeah, the slightly more posher one, which is about 3 or 4 times more expensive than this one, actually is a lot more, almost 10 times more expensive than this pump, has quick release and so on, so you can just quickly drop this in and out. But for the starting, for testing, I'm using this. It's just a standard motor, and it's pretty basic. So let me just stick that in here, clamp it down. I'm using a Labrator to hold all this. I generally use a Labrator anyway for filtering and so on. So this is ideal because I can then I can drop it up and down for the height of the bottles and supply and so on. It's better than that, than having it all integral into a device. Right, now do remember, keep in mind that this is my working prototype. It's not finished. In fact, some of the construction is a little bit flaky in places. Right, okay, so we have a little box which arrived yesterday, and I've put everything in there. Okay, the 3 buttons aren't horizontal because I didn't use my pillar drill, which would have been more accurate. I use the hand drill, and even with a center punch a few times, still skidded all over the place. So once I get this done properly, I'll get a proper cut, get someone to manufacture the plates with the right holes. Also, I don't quite know what I'm going to do to fix the I'm looking in the camera and it's the wrong way. Fix this yet. So this is floating around and a bit loose, but that's to come. So then at the back, I'll probably replace this with a DIN plug so that you can plug in different pumps, and they'll have different requirements, wiring requirements. So I'll need to have, for example, the more posher pump that I talked about earlier, where it's got the quick release. That's a stepper pump, and that requires 3 to 4 wires to operate. So I need to have a multi-DIN to handle all that, and it needs to be able to come in and out and replace parts. Then we've got power, and now this, not sure if I will use this for if I bring this out commercially, but I use this feature a lot in a number of other devices I have round on my desk, namely my production system for studio broadcasting or whatever, podcasting and zooming kind of stuff. I have a drum machine pedal. Yep. Which camera can I get this in on? Yeah, there we go. It's a drum machine pedal. It operates, you know, you put your foot on it and you can bash the drum. So what this does is that I can then have that on the floor, and then I can operate filling hands-free, which is quite beneficial when you're trying to hold bottles and junk and stuff. So, right, let us power it up, and I will give a quick run through. So I've just got a power, just going to plug the power in, and boom, power's in and it's on. Okay, it comes up with my logo, which doesn't quite fit the screen. Right, let's get this in camera. Okay, so that should be, if you maximize the video, let's see if I can actually maximize it here on my screen so I can make sure I'm in shot. Right, so what we have is, right, so I'll keep this camera so on the pump and this on the control panel. So we have 3 buttons. So okay, I've got to try and do this upside down. Right, middle button. So that selects up to 1 of 10 programs. Now we'll just pop into the settings. Okay, that's upside down. I'll just go into that. Yep, okay, I've got the right button. Right, so that's just the version of the software that's running. Okay, contrast. So that just changes the contrast of the screen. Okay, oops, I went through too quickly. Let's go back in again, because yep, okay, pump pulse. So the idea is that to calibrate, you have a number of pulses to pump. So pump pulse can be changed depending on whatever you feel like. So I usually leave it to half a second, but if it supports going in 0.25 seconds. So each time you change the pump pulse, it spins and shows you how long it's going to last. So, you know, 1 second is a long time for this type of pump to run. So I'll switch it back down to 0.5 seconds. Then the next type is the pump type. Well, this will be supporting all the various types of pumps that I'm going to be connecting to it and testing with. Right, but anyway, that's the boring stuff. Let's actually I don't have any liquid to pump because I can't get everything in the camera, and I've got 2 cameras here and it's still not enough. I'm probably going to need 3, and I haven't got a 3rd camera. I could use my phone, but I can't do that hands-free, so you're just going to have to assume it's liquid is going round the pump and it's filling the bottle. Right, anyway, so let's go settings. Okay, let's pick a program. We'll take this one. I don't know what it is. So you then go, you press the go button, and there it says waiting to run, and it's done 0. So when it's ready to run, you either press the start button to run the program, or if I'm using my foot pedal, I'll just tap my foot on the floor, and there it goes. So it's got 8 pulses, and it shows progress for each one. There, it's done 1. We can do another one. There, and then, well, that's, that's filling something up. So you've got 10 of those. You can use them in a variety of different ways, and I'll show you what I mean by that. If I stop processing and go back to the menu, if we pop to one of these, let's try that one and mess it there. Then I hit the 3rd button, which is adjust. So it's got their direction of motor, forward or reverse. So for example, what you could do is have a 30ml bottle, which is what I use, and at the end of pumping, you're going to have the whole line full of liquid. So if I was to finish, I could say have a program called reverse, or go back, or whatever, return, I think or whatever, and it will just take out all the contents of the tubing back into the supply, and it's emptied then. Otherwise I'd have to take away the supply bottle and then pump forward a few times to empty it back in. It's it's one program to do that. So we have that. Then we go to the next stage, which is how many pulses. So there it says 24. If I do plus, it will run the pump. So when I'm calibrating and programming a fill program, I would just keep pressing this until I have enough in the program that I want to fill it up by. If I take off, it doesn't do anything. Actually, I could do that to go into reverse. That would be pretty neat. I might do that to suck it back out. Yeah. So yeah, so that will set your program length of time to run, and then you go to the next stage and you can change the program name, and it cycles through alphabet and some symbols and so on, so you can just give it some reasonable non-junk name, which is what I'm currently doing, like so, and then you save it, and then you got a program. So yeah, okay, we'll run that one. Ready to go. And that is pretty much it. There's not a lot to it. It's simple, and that's what I want it to do. And of course, when you switch it all off, you can then switch it back on again, and everything is saved. Do 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 do. Next program. There we go, there's the program again. Whoops, that's abandoned. Go back in, run it again. Okay, so what I will do is probably change that. Must remember, I'll note that down once I'm done, to make that coat change. But there you go. It's really simple, and it will save on an awful lot of washing. Because I only have, I think, what is it, 2 graduated cylinders that are at the capacity I need for the 50ml. A 50ml, a 30ml, and a 10ml. So I've got to wash 2 out every time I do a run. So with 9 perfumes, that is difficult. But with 9 of these tubes, I can just quickly change and go to the next one. And then I can have programs that do a flush of the with ethanol afterwards and wash it out. And if it's that bad, I can then just bin it, because these are quite cheap. So it's actually a no-brainer to do this, rather than have loads of glassware all over the place. Well, I hope that is enough of a demo, and I can't wait until I get the next version sorted, especially with a posher pump, which this is working. This will work for a while anyway. Do the next few batches before I need to look at the next pump. But there you go. Hopefully at some point this will be available to buy. Bye bye.